You're the only one tethering me to this earth. A Smilin' Friends fanfiction readin'. Written and narrated by Precious Piece of Cheese. The link to the original fic will be in the description box below. Chapter 4 of 24. You've got me feeling emotions deeper than I've ever dreamed of. Charlie could barely remember anything from last night. He didn't even know how he ended up in his apartment on his couch with vomit all over his hoodie. The sun was high in the sky, casting long beams of light across the floor. What day was it? Tuesday? Shit, what time was it? Charlie found his phone in his pants pocket and found out that it was almost noon. Oh, God, he was supposed to be at work. Fucking hell! Charlie shouted hoarsely. This whole situation was ruining his life. He saw all the messages from Pim and sighed heavily. He quickly dialed Mr. Boss to officially call in, even though he was about 5 hours late. Hey, Mr. Boss, it's Charlie. Oh, hello, Charlie. Are you all right? Not really. I'm very sick right now. Sorry for not calling earlier. I just woke up. Oh, okay, that's quite all right. I hope you feel better soon, son. I should be okay for tomorrow, though. Again, I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. It happens. Rest up, okay? Okay, thank you. Bye now. Charlie dropped the phone on his lap and groaned loudly. He honestly never felt worse in his life, even though he had been hungover many times before. He was pretty certain that he blacked out, and he couldn't even remember the last time he did. Even though it was the last thing he wanted to do, he had to call up Pim to tell him that he was fine, considering he had 20 texts and 5 missed calls from him. Charlie, where are you? Pim shouted. I'm sick, dude. I'm sorry. I just woke up. Sick? What's wrong? I've been puking. It might be a stomach bug? He clenched his teeth, hating the feeling of actively lying to Pim, but he couldn't know about last night at all. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Do you want me to stop by after work to help? I can make you soup or something to eat. He felt like he was going to puke again. Seeing Pim was probably not a good idea. I don't want you to get sick. Please, don't feel like you have to. But I want to help you. Charlie sighed through the phone. Look, dude, I just need to rest for a while if I want to go back to work tomorrow. Okay. Feel better soon. Pim sounded actively disappointed. Okay, thanks. Bye. Charlie hung up quickly, feeling a wave of guilt. Probably the worst part of this whole thing was the agonizing need to push Pim away when it never used to be like that. Charlie would always want to spend time with him and never rejected an offer to do so, but now it was like he was avoiding him. Where he used to find comfort, he only found guilt and anxiety. That was what broke his heart the most. Before he could engage in another crying session, he needed to call Tyler to put the pieces together of what happened last night. Hey, Charlie. How you doing, man? Dude, what happened? I woke up on my couch covered in puke, and I had to call out of work 5 hours late because I just woke up. Tyler fell silent for a minute. Are you okay now? Yeah, sure, but I think I blacked out or something. What was the last thing you remember? I was trauma dumping to you and cried like a bitch. Charlie chuckled to quell his mortification. Okay, so I bought an Uber for us and had your car towed back to your place. I walked you inside your apartment and left. Oh, so it was you that brought me home. Yeah, you were a little too fucked up, so I walked you back so you wouldn't fall over. I felt kind of bad just leaving you there, but at least you were home safe. You're the best, man. Of course, brother. I wouldn't leave you hanging like that. So, I'm sorry for everything. I shouldn't have dumped all of that onto you. It's so embarrassing. I never do stuff like that. No, man. Don't be sorry. Everyone needs to vent once in a while. In fact, I'm proud that you opened up to me like that. I know it's a hard thing to do. Just, please, keep it between us. I really don't need Pim knowing anything that happened last night. You have my word, brother. Thanks, man. You're awesome. Anytime. Let me know if you need anything. I should be fine, but thanks. Okay. Alright. Rest up and hopefully we can hang out soon. Okay. Bye. Charlie leapt from the couch and ran to the bathroom to puke in the toilet, positively overwhelmed with how complicated everything had gotten. Even though getting a second opinion on the situation was objectively a decent idea, getting Tyler tangled into his drama made him feel guilty. It made him feel even worse that he was now keeping so many secrets from Pim. How long could he keep it up before he fell apart completely? Charlie laid on the bathroom floor in agony until he felt the strength to rise again. He took a long shower, brushed his teeth, washed his face, and changed into his underwear and bathrobe. He was determined to do absolutely nothing all day, desperate for the rest and relaxation that he had been deprived of for days. He ordered Salties on DoorDash, positioned his computer in front of his bed, and lit up his bong. The only thing he wanted to do was get fried and watch TV all day. Once his food arrived and when the weed started to kick in, Charlie felt better. Pim was still on his mind, obviously, but it didn't come with all of the confusion, anxiety, and frustration that usually followed. His altered state of mind made his thoughts of Pim more warm and fuzzy. He ate his food while watching old Vine compilations on YouTube in his bed. He pondered calmly for a while as the videos passed by and the indica became more sedative. For once, he could think about things without getting into a frenzy or sobbing. He came to the conclusion that moping about and spiraling about the situation wasn't going to help anyone, and that he should try to do more for Pim to make him actually happier. He couldn't help the painful melancholy that Pim being in distress made him feel, but avoiding him sure as hell wasn't going to be the answer. If Pim never wanted to speak about those events again, fine, but Charlie wouldn't forget them. He wanted to use that information to heal instead of hurt. What would he do for Pim? He wasn't sure, but being there for him was a start. If only he could crack the code for Pim's true happiness. Like Tyler said, he couldn't be a miracle worker, but he could just be a good friend in the meantime. His other feelings, however, he pushed aside for now. As the hours wore on, the more he missed Pim. He knew Pim was still at work, probably worried about him. He wasn't stressed, just kind of sad that Pim wasn't there to keep him company, which he thought to be a good thing considering his recent avoidance of him. To quell his loneliness, he browsed YouTube to find something to watch that reminded him of his dear friend, as if he were there in spirit. Charlie typed Mariah Carey into the search bar and flicked through the recommendations. To Charlie, Mariah and Pim were basically inseparable in his mind, so it was his natural choice. He couldn't think about her without thinking about him. He did find something that he was intimately familiar with. Madison Square Garden, 1995. A warm rush flowed through him as he remembered a time a couple years ago where Pim made him watch that with him. Pim had a worn-out VHS tape of that concert from his childhood. He said that he saved up his spare lunch money to buy it and watched it on the TV when he was home alone. He stored it under his bed so his family wouldn't find it. He hid his things under his bed ever since his dad smashed his cassette tape of Music Box in a fit of rage when he did poorly on a test. Charlie bought a Music Box cassette tape off of eBay and gave it to Pim for Christmas that year because of that story. It was one of the only other times Charlie saw Pim cry because it was tears of joy, like his inner child was healed. A strong wave of emotions flooded him upon remembering that. It was probably one of the most sentimental things Charlie ever did for Pim, gifting him that tape. Pim mentioned times before that his dad broke things out of anger, but that tape was special to him. His parents didn't buy him music like that because his dad called him a certain slur for liking girl music, so Pim would always collect his spare lunch money to buy his own music. He would often listen to that specific tape to drown out his parents fighting with each other. Charlie wasn't the type of guy that did sappy stuff like that, but he felt so bad for Pim that he had to do it, and Pim had never been happier. Maybe that was what Charlie should do. Be more thoughtful like that. Maybe he'd get him a special gift for Christmas or something. He'd need to think about that another time. Still feeling the weight of his emotions, he pressed play on the video. Charlie sat in a half-awake, melancholic daze, listening to the music, imagining that Pim was snuggled beside him making commentary and humming along. He could imagine a young, scared Pim listening to Dream Lover and Hero on his Music Box tape through his old headphones while pressing a pillow against his head to drown out the never-ending yelling and fighting, desperate to escape. Pim once drunkenly confessed that he once saw Mariah as a substitute mother figure, often pretending that she would hug him and sit next to his bed and sing him to sleep during times of acute distress when he was young. Silent tears fell down his face as he soaked in the performance of Vision of Love. No matter how unrealistic it may have seemed, Charlie was still determined to help him heal. He loved him too much not to try. With his eyes and heart growing ever the more heavy, he eventually laid down to close his eyes, with the music still playing in the background. It could have been heaven, but Charlie wasn't sure where he was. He couldn't feel any part of his body, but he was perfectly at peace. An endless skyscape of the clearest blue conceivable, with a luscious bed of pure white clouds at his feet. Stardust fell from the sky like rain, and a vague singing of angels echoed from the distance. The angel chorus grew more all-encompassing when a celestial ray of sunlight pierced out of the tranquil sky, temporarily blinding him. Once the radiance cleared, Pim stood before him with grand feathered wings that seemed to span 6 feet across, pearly translucent skin, and a sheer cloth draped over his body. His eyes had no pupils, only a vaguely milky appearance. A human woman with curly brown hair and an indistinguishable face stepped into view from behind Charlie, wearing a white silk gown and equally grand wings. "Please take care of him for me," she said in an echoey voice. She briefly laid her hand on top of Pim's head and then nodded towards Charlie. Pim flew towards him and wrapped his wings around him, planting a fiery kiss upon his lips. The touch burned so hot that Charlie thought his face was going to melt off. Yet he didn't pull away. Charlie woke up on the verge of hyperventilating. With his face burning hot, he frantically touched himself to see if he was alive. It was dark outside and his computer was turned off due to the battery dying while he was asleep. He sat up in bed, staring blankly at the floor. His lips burned hot as if the dream had actually occurred. "Fuck," he whispered to himself. That wasn't normal. One weirdly suggestive dream about your best friend could be brushed off as a fluke, but two in a row was the indication of a pattern. He checked the clock and it was 4:58 a.m. When did he even fall asleep? He had to be up for work at 6 anyway, so he opted to stay awake. He convinced himself that it was some weird weed-induced dream and that it didn't mean anything. Yet, he still lingered on the thoughts that he knew he shouldn't think. His fingers grazed his lips as if Pims were really there. The next few days went by, surprisingly uneventfully, much to Charlie's delight. His coworkers only asked him about his sick day once and actually believed him, even though he still felt guilty about it. As expected, Pim floated about the world as he usually did, again, never bringing up what happened that fateful Saturday night. Charlie couldn't tell if Pim brushed it under the rug at that point or just plain forgot about it. It was still stuck in Charlie's mind, but he wasn't going to mind if Pim didn't want to speak about it, especially at work. The further in the past that day became, the easier Charlie felt like he could carry on as he slowly processed his emotions and figured out plans of action to help Pim. You would think he would be anxious for their next Saturday night, but he wasn't as much as he imagined, although shreds of it still lingered in his brain. While some feelings were being dealt with, some not so much. He had dreamt about Pim in some form every night since, all to varying degrees of romanticism or sensuality. For the time being, he segregated those feelings to fleeting indulgent fantasies in the secluded confines of his personal dreamscape, refusing to let them affect how he interacted with Pim on a daily basis. Despite that, he still couldn't restrain himself from staring at his friend for a little too long or feeling an electric rush whenever they had physical contact. As much as he was trying to suppress those feelings, they were becoming too potent to ignore. It was just another thing to deal with silently. There was not a chance in hell that he was going to burden Pim with such feelings as those. Despite Charlie's never-ending battles within himself, the world kept spinning and Saturday rolled around once again. It had been a full week since that night, and he wasn't sure what tonight was going to look like. He hoped that things would remain the way they've always been, yet he had a feeling that things would never be the same. How could they after something like that? Despite all of that, Charlie was still determined to have a good time with Pim. He wasn't going to let all of that spoil one of his only true moments of solace. Yet he couldn't quell the underlying anxiety that he felt throughout the day. When the time finally came, Charlie drove to Taco Bell to pick up their dinner and went to Pim's place. He was very eager to get the little party started so he could drink and forget about his problems for a while. Charlie walked into Pim sitting on the couch on his phone, wearing a purple fuzzy bathrobe. Charlie! Pim practically bounced out of his seat and rushed towards him, beaming in genuine delight. Charlie's heart warmed. Maybe tonight would be fine after all. He unpacked the bag of food while Pim went to the fridge to get out the drinks. Hey, Charlie, check this out! Pim pulled out his Glinda popcorn bucket from the fridge, which had a piece of tin foil over the top. He took off the tin foil to reveal that the bucket was filled with a pink liquid with ice cubes and strawberry slices floating in it. Oh my god, Pim, what did you make? Charlie chuckled. His heart fluttered from Pim actually following the suggestion that he made at the movies last week. Perhaps Pim didn't forget about that time after all. I don't know what to call it, but it's pink lemonade, vodka, Bacardi, a few hard strawberry lemonades, and fresh cut strawberries for a garnish. Holy shit, that's awesome, dude. Let's call it Glinda's Pink Party Juice. We're gonna get fucked up tonight. You do want to try some? I thought you weren't really into fruity drinks. I gotta give it a try, you know? We can't have you drinking all of that. Pour me a glass, brother. Pim smiled warmly and went to the cupboard to get glasses. Charlie set their food in front of their placements. Dorito tacos for Pim, and a crunch wrap for Charlie, and chicken nuggets to share. I'm so excited to try the new nuggets. Pim came back with 2 glasses and a soup ladle to scoop out their jungle juice. I heard that they were pretty good. Charlie helped himself to Pim's creation and took a sip. He rarely ever drank what Pim made for himself, but he was surprised with how smooth it was, for there being 3 different kinds of alcohol in it. It wasn't that he disliked cocktails, like Pim said, but it just wasn't what he gravitated to. But that mixture might have changed his mind. This is really good, dude. Thanks. I just kind of threw things together, not knowing how it would turn out. I'm more surprised that you followed through with it. Follow through with what? Remember when I joked about making jungle juice in the popcorn bucket at the movies last weekend? I didn't think you'd do it, but you did. You remembered. Why wouldn't I remember that? I had such a good time. It's something I want to remember. It's just that you haven't brought up last weekend at all this week, and I was wondering why. Charlie wasn't sure if it was a good idea to bring it up, but in the sanctuary of their evenings together, maybe it'd be fine. Charlie needed answers. Pim took a long sip of his drink. It's nothing personal, I promise. It's just that I feel like what happens between us during times like these should stay out of work. You know? Alan and Clep don't need to know that we do this. It's just a work-life separation. If you know what I mean. Oh, okay. I get it. Charlie never realized that was what Pim thought. He wondered also if it was because of the 2 different personalities that Pim seemed to exhibit at work and in his normal life. But he was satisfied enough with that answer. It's also that the guys at work don't need to know that I'm an alcoholic. Charlie nearly choked on his crunch wrap. Wait, what? Pim chuckled awkwardly. Oh, come on, Charlie. I thought it was obvious enough that I didn't need to say it out loud. Why do you think I do this all the time? Okay, but drinking once a week doesn't make you an alcoholic, right? But drinking solely as a means of emotional escape and to the point of passing out is. Come on, Charlie. We both do and know this. Since Pim was opening up that conversation fairly sober, Charlie decided to go for the jump. Is this part of your emotional suppression? Obviously. Is it not for you too? You do this with me all of the time. Yeah, I know. We all need to escape somehow, and getting fucked up with your best bud is one way to do it. Unless things get better, I'm not going to stop. What would it mean for you to get better? To feel comfortable and secure enough in myself to genuinely value my existence? To be loved unconditionally by someone who will love me to the point where I don't need to pretend to be happy anymore? Go to a Mariah Carey concert? You know, stuff like that. Charlie felt the weight of those loaded words pressed down on him. Yet, he didn't fear them this time. Pim was being honest and giving him information that he could use to help him, and that made him almost excited. I see, Charlie said. It'll happen one day. I promise. I don't know. Pim shrugged and looked off to the side. They will get better, if I can help it. Pim looked back up at Charlie with a melancholic twinkle in his eyes. As long as I have you, things can't get any worse. Right back at you. Charlie and Pim clinked their glasses together and downed what was left in them. Pim took it down like a champ, but Charlie coughed roughly. Anyways, what are we doing tonight? Pim asked. He scooped himself out another drink. I don't know. What are you feeling? Pim gave him a mischievous smirk. Mario Kart? Charlie laughed. So you can beat my ass like usual? Perchance. Pim smiled. Alright, bet. I'm determined to cream you this time. Okay, but let's each do one more round to spice things up. Are you suggesting a drunk drive-in, Pim? Don't you want to have fun tonight? Okay, fine, you party animal. Pim poured Charlie a new drink. Let's do a chug, okay? How many shots are in a glass, anyway? Pim shrugged. Couldn't tell you. I didn't measure anything in this. Fuck, good thing we're not going to work tomorrow. Pim and Charlie held their glasses together. Pim began the count. Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. They both threw it back in unison. Charlie struggled to do it without choking, but Pim somehow managed to do it effortlessly. Charlie coughed up a storm when he finished. Dude, what the fuck? How? Pim smiled slyly. College party trick. You wouldn't think that the psychology majors would know how to throw ragers, but... yeah. It's something I never unlearned. Come on, let's get the Wii set up. Pim filled up 2 more glasses and brought them over to the living room. When Charlie stood up, he quickly felt a rush to his head and almost stumbled from walking from the table to the couch. He was an established beer drinker and didn't frequent hard liquor, but whatever Pim put in that juice was doing something to him. Oh, shit, Charlie mumbled. He flopped on the couch. You good, big guy? Pim asked slyly. He was already developing that distinct flush on his cheeks. That shit was strong, dude. I'm already feeling something. Oh, you don't really drink hard liquor, do you? Well, tonight's gonna be fun for you. Pim giggled playfully. Charlie wondered if Pim was more hardcore than he thought. Pim clicked a Wii remote into a steering wheel accessory and handed it to Charlie. Pim sat next to Charlie so closely that their thighs touched. Pim, being the player 1 position, got the game started. Charlie chose Bowser in a spear, and Pim chose Birdo in a dolphin dasher. The critters played for hours, keeping the liquor flowing and the sillies getting higher and higher by the race. Their playful banter grew with increasing excitement and uncontrollable giggling. They got increasingly physical with each other the more wasted they got, playfully hitting each other and Pim falling over onto Charlie's lap when he laughed too hard. Pim beat Charlie at every round until he was so intoxicated that he kept fumbling the game, constantly falling over the edge. I beat you! I finally beat you! Charlie screamed upon beating Pim for the first time that night. Charlie didn't actually win. He just got 9th place while Pim got 11th. At that point in the night, neither of them could get a higher placement than 7th or 8th. No, stop it! Pim squealed. He lightly smacked Charlie's arm repeatedly. Let's do something else. I want to dance. Pim stood up for the first time in 2 hours and nearly fell over while walking to the kitchen to acquire more liquor. Charlie sat on the couch staring at the blank TV with a wide smile and droopy eyes. He had never been so drunk in his life, and he could imagine that Pim felt the same. They stopped counting the drinks after 3. God knew how many shots were in each one. Pim wobbled over to Charlie with glasses in hand. "This is the last of it." "Huh?" "The bucket is empty. We drank it all." "Oh, okay." "Hold on. I'm getting too warm. I need to take this off." Pim shrugged off his robe and threw it over the couch, revealing that he was wearing a tight blue tank top and a pair of small purple shorts. "I need to do my laundry tomorrow. I hate how tight these clothes are, but I don't have much that's clean right now." Charlie's entire face flushed bright orange when Pim stood up, staring directly at his ass. Charlie wouldn't have taken Pim to be the type of guy to own booty shorts. "I need to show you this dance I've been practicing." Pim nearly fell into a coughing fit from laughing. Pim loved to dance, Charlie learned early on in their relationship. Even though he wasn't technically a good dancer since his stubby limbs could only do so much, Pim still enjoyed it. He often tried to replicate the choreography in the videos of his favorite pop girls, watching videos over and over again to learn the moves. He'd done that ever since he was young, spending his time home alone in front of the TV, danced along to MTV videos. Now, mostly when Pim was drunk, he would dance with Charlie or show him routines he learned. He even once said that Charlie was the only one he felt comfortable dancing in front of, since he knew he wouldn't make fun of him. Wait, hold on." Pim was still giggling. He grabbed the TV remote and pulled up his YouTube account, selecting the music video for "I'm a Slave for You" by Britney Spears. "I've been really trying to get good at this one." Pim then proceeded to perform the dance choreography from the video in front of Charlie. Charlie, sitting on the couch, completely fucked up, watching Pim dance, was in a trance. He usually just politely watched Pim when he danced for him, but this was different. Maybe it was because of the context of everything that had happened recently and Charlie's weird dreams, but he liked it. Like, really liked it. Pim wasn't even doing the dance moves that well, but Charlie, Pim looked incredibly fucking good right there with his ass-tight shorts, distinct flush, and lidded eyes as he danced and lip-synced. This wasn't even the first time Pim danced that specific song for Charlie, but it sure felt brand new to him. Charlie was so gone that he almost didn't realize he had a certain something poking through his pants. Upon registering it, Pim stopped dead in his tracks and stared at it. He then laughed uncontrollably and fell over. "What?" Charlie crossed his legs tightly. "Did you like the dance, Charlie?" Pim purred. Charlie's skin prickled at his tone. "Yeah, good job, bro." Pim stared down his friend with a shit-eating grin sitting proud on his face. Was he trying to mess with him, make fun of him, or seduce him? He was too drunk to be properly embarrassed, but also painfully aware of everything, almost sobering him up on the spot. With the video still playing in the background, the autoplay changed the video for "Honey" by Mariah Carey. As the opening dialogue portion of the video played, Pim slowly strode up to Charlie, standing about half a foot away from him. "You like this, don't you?" Pim placed his hands on his hips and gyrated slowly. His eyes were both completely unfocused and also severely intentional. Charlie glanced down and noticed that he and Pim were definitely in the same situation. His mouth fell open. Was he dreaming? What the fuck was going on? When the song finally began to play, Pim danced and moved his mouth along. Only this time, it was obvious that he was doing it for Charlie, instead of in front of him like before. His seduction attempts were occasionally fragmented with giggle fits to the point where Charlie wasn't sure if he was being ironic or not. Regardless of whatever Pim's intentions were, Charlie had never been more turned on in his life. When the song ended, Pim erupted into another fit of laughter and fell back onto the couch and into Charlie's lap. I don't feel good, Pim said. Wait, what? I'm dizzy. Pim's tone dropped and he covered his mouth with his hand. Oh, fuck. Hold on. Charlie scooped up Pim into his arms and rushed to the bathroom. As soon as Charlie set Pim in front of the toilet, Pim vomited. It's okay, man. Let it out. Charlie was snapped back into reality, gently patting Pim on the back as he dry heaved. Pim didn't vomit that much when he drank, so it was rather shocking that he did, even though it was probably because of the dancing. Do you want some water? Charlie asked. Uh-huh, Pim mumbled. Hold on. Charlie turned Pim to face him and grabbed some toilet paper to wipe the stray bits of vomit off of Pim's mouth. Hang tight for a sec, okay? Charlie got up and went to the kitchen to get a bottle of water from the fridge. When he returned, he found Pim curled up in a ball on the floor. He was moaning in pain. Sit up for me, bud. Charlie helped Pim sit up, leaning him against the sink cupboard for support. He uncapped the bottle and gave it to Pim, watching him gulp it down. When he was done, he gave the bottle back to Charlie. I love you, Charlie, Pim said weakly. He placed a hand on Charlie's knee, gazing up into his eyes with a melancholic yearning in them. I love you too, Pim, Charlie stuttered. His pacemaker was working overtime as he clicked the pieces together of what happened in the last hour. Did Pim really feel some type of way about him, or was he simply too drunk to act properly? As much as he wanted to brush it off as the latter, he was reminded of last week's conversation. You should go to bed. It's late. Charlie was not about to attempt to process all of that right now. Okay, Pim sighed. Charlie picked up Pim and brought him to his bedroom. He placed Pim on his large bed and tucked him in. Pim's eyes instantly closed, and he let out a comfortable sigh. Good night, Pim. Charlie turned on the nightlight and white noise machine that sat on Pim's side table, and swiftly left the room, closing the door behind him. He sat down on the couch and slumped over, covering his face with his hands. His best friend might be in love with him, and he might feel the same way too. If you made it to the end of this chapter, thank you so much for listening. This is like what I considered like the chapter that really gets the ball rolling. As in, this is Charlie's epiphany that he's like, oh my god, I think I like Pim like that. Because, well, I guess the first chapter kind of like low-key puts that in his mind, but it's like it's this moment that he can't like avoid what he's been suppressing since the beginning. Because it's important to know that like Charlie has always felt this type of way about Pim. It's just like the inciting incident in chapter 1 kind of gets the ball rolling. But I believe it's this chapter specifically that it's like Charlie gets himself in a situation where he can no longer ignore his feelings because now he thinks that Pym might like him too. Because the whole scene of them hanging out together and like getting drunk and shit, and what I describe as Pym dirty dancing for Charlie when they both get a boner from it. The thing is, when I wrote this chapter, I thought that the dirty dancing scene was like the most scandalous shit. Was like, oh my god, is this too much? I would then come to write in later in this fic and in other fics that I have dirtier shit, so it's like this is a light work compared to explicit stuff I've written already, so it's like, well, we all gotta start somewhere, and I suppose here is where we started. Because I didn't even write, and it's like, oh, Charlie got a boner. It's like, no, he had this little surprise in his pants. I'm like, get to the point. Also, because I feel like I've gotten comments about this specifically that the readers weren't sure if Pym was actually trying to seduce Charlie or if he was simply too drunk to act properly. Or maybe with Charlie's assumptions that maybe Pym likes me back too was like just a misconception because Pym didn't actually mean it like that. It was written purposefully to be like ambiguous, and then like in the future chapter you'd find out what it meant. But when I wrote this, I even knew specifically that Pym was doing it to seduce Charlie. So if you want to know what was it, the authorial intention of that was for Pym to actually try to seduce Charlie after he sees his boner, pretty much. Because once he sees his boner, that's all the convincing he needs that he's like, oh my god, he's like turned on by me. It's not like he's turned on in general, he's turned on by something I did specifically. But I should probably say that the chapter title is taken from Emotions by Mariah Carey, obviously. It's one of my favorite songs of hers. But what I wanted to pull from to kind of tie into the themes of this chapter is when Charlie's emotions simply become too great to ignore, which is why I chose You've Got Me Feeling Emotions Deeper Than I've Ever Dreamed of. Because Charlie is simply feeling shit that he has never felt before, and he's like scared, confused. He doesn't know if what he's feeling is real or not, but all he knows is that it's so prominent that he can't really ignore it anymore. He tries to suppress it, specifically like his romantic yearning for Pym in how he like guiltily he partakes in like the guilty pleasure of like thinking about his like sexy dreams of Pym or whatever. But also the feeling of like this deeper connection that he's begun to develop with Pym ever since Pym told him all of his dark secrets. And he's like, I want to help him. I want to do everything I can to like make him happy again or whatever. And it's also like he's processing two different types of feelings. Kind of like his platonic type of feel, like just in general. Like, oh, I want to be a good friend and help him feel better. Like, yeah, that's like, I think that's very platonic. But he's also grappling with like the suppressed romantic feelings towards Pym. The next chapter will be quite explosive, so if you're a new reader, stay tuned for that. I need to mention this as well. When Pym said I love you, Charlie, in the bathroom after he threw up, was that sincere or not? It was written to be ambiguous, but if you want to know the authorial intent behind that, is that he meant it with every fiber of his being. Because it's like, where it's like after Charlie has been doing all this for Pym throughout the night, and in the final act of him taking him to the bathroom to help him vomit, Pym then realizes how much Charlie loves him. So in his drunken stupor, he's like, I love you, Charlie. Is it platonic or romantic? It's kind of both. It's not said, but it's both, if you wanted to know. And then when Charlie says, I love you too, Pym, he also means that with every fiber of his being. And it's this point where he's like, this is too much for me. So he's like, okay, let's put Pym to bed and let me just go cry on the couch for a bit because, like, what the fuck is going on? And mind you, he's, like, pretty much almost blackout drunk at this point, and he's just like, oh my god. So, subscribe for chapter 5, which is a big chapter. But I hope to see you guys next time.